Robbie's Big Delivery Day, written by Michelle Emerson, read by Beverly Chen. Welcome to Thimbleberry Stories, where warm and cozy tales await you. If you love gentle bedtime stories that make you feel as warm as a freshly baked biscuit on a cool morning, be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a new adventure. Now, get comfy, pull up your favorite blanket, and let's begin tonight's story. The sun had just begun to rise over Thimbleberry Village, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds. The air smelled fresh, a mix of dew-covered grass and the warm, buttery scent drifting from Mr. Squirrel's bakery. Inside the bakery, Robbie Beaver stood by the counter, stretching his paws as Mr. Squirrel bustled about, packing up the morning's baked goods. "Big delivery day today, Robbie," said Mr. Squirrel, tucking a fresh loaf into a cloth. "I've got 6 stops for you, 4 in town and 2 out in the country. You'll be zooming down those hills in no time." Robbie grinned. He loved the long rides through the countryside best of all. Mr. Squirrel handed him the list. 1 honey oat loaf for Daisy Bunny. Chet the Chipmunk requested 3 nutty sticky buns. Some berry muffins for Deirdre Duck. Otis Owl wanted crunchy seed biscotti. Pemberton Mouse wanted cinnamon twists. And Catherine Cat wanted buttermilk biscuits. Robbie adjusted the wooden crate on the back of his bicycle, carefully stacking the boxes inside. He climbed onto the seat, gave a final wave to Mr. Squirrel, and pedaled off down the cobbled road. Daisy Bunny's cottage sat at the edge of the village, surrounded by a neat little garden, bursting with marigolds and lavender. Robbie parked his bicycle by the gate and knocked on the round wooden door. The door swung open, and Daisy Bunny beamed. "Oh, my honey oat loaf! I've been waiting for this all morning." She took the golden brown loaf, sniffing it happily. "Come inside for a cup of tea, Robbie." Robbie shook his head. "Can't today, Daisy. Got lots of deliveries, but maybe next time." Daisy handed him a tiny jar of wildflower honey as a thank you. "For your biscuits later." Robbie tucked the jar safely into his crate and waved goodbye. Next, Robbie rode over to Chet Chipmunk's cottage, a snug little home inside an old oak tree. Chet zipped outside as soon as Robbie arrived. "Sticky buns? Did you bring my sticky buns?" Robbie grinned and handed over a small box with 3 nutty sticky buns, their caramel glaze dripping down the sides. Chet opened the box, his eyes gleaming, and pulled out one of the buns. "Want a split one?" he asked, holding out half to Robbie. Robbie smiled and shook his head. "No thanks, Chet. Those are all yours." Chet let out a happy squeak. "More for me then." He took a big bite, his cheeks puffing out. Robbie chuckled. "Enjoy them, Chet. See you next time." Robbie's next stop was near the pond, where Deirdre Duck lived, in a cozy, thatched roof cottage. She opened the door, flapping her wings in delight. "Berry muffins, just in time for my morning tea." Robbie handed her a small basket filled with warm muffins, their tops bursting with blueberries and raspberries. "I might eat them all before tea even starts," Deirdre admitted, popping one into her beak. "Thank you, Robbie." Robbie hopped on his bike and sped over to the library. Otis Owl lived in a tall treehouse above the village library, with books stacked on every surface. Robbie had to climb a little ladder to reach the landing, so he carefully hooked the basket into the crook of his arm before grabbing the first rung. As he climbed, the scent of toasted nuts and seeds from the biscotti drifted up with him. Otis greeted him with a serious nod. "Ah, my crunchy seed biscotti. Just what I needed for my late-night reading." Robbie handed over the package, and Otis sniffed the nut and seed-covered biscotti approvingly. "You always bring the best service, young beaver," Otis said with a wise hoot. Robbie grinned. "Glad to help. See you next time, Otis." Now came Robbie's favorite part, the countryside. He pedaled out of town, up the long, winding road, feeling the breeze grow cooler as he reached the highest hill. He took a deep breath, and then with a push, sped down the hill at full speed. Whee! The world blurred as he raced past rolling meadows, wildflowers, and tall golden fields. His wooden crate bumped behind him, but Robbie knew just how to keep his balance. At the bottom of the hill, nestled near the old stone bridge, sat Pemberton Mouse's tiny burrow. Robbie parked his bicycle and crouched down, knocking gently on the tiny door. Pemberton peeked out, blinking. "Ah, cinnamon twists, I hope." Robbie handed him the warm, spiraled pastries, dusted with sugar and cinnamon. Perfect for a cozy afternoon," Pemberton said, setting out 2 tiny teacups. "Would you like to join me for a sip of tea?" Robbie hesitated. "I'd love to, but I've got one more delivery. Next time, though?" Pemberton smiled. "It's a promise." The last stop was Catherine Cat's cottage, perched near a blackberry thicket at the farthest end of the countryside. Catherine lounged on her porch, stretching lazily. "Robbie, you're right on time." Robbie handed her the final box. "Fresh buttermilk biscuits, just as you like them." Catherine sniffed the biscuits and purred. These will be perfect with fresh cream. You work so hard, Robbie. You should take a rest." She handed him a handful of plump, juicy blackberries. "For the ride home." Robbie popped one in his mouth. They were sweet and warm from the sun. "Thanks, Catherine. I'll see you next time." With all his deliveries done, Robbie turned his bicycle back toward Thimbleberry Village. The sun was higher now, the fields glowing warm and golden. He pedaled up the last big hill, his legs working hard, but he didn't mind. At the top he paused and looked out over the village below. He grinned, feeling happy and proud. Then, with one last big push, he zoomed back down the hill, heading for home, ready for another delivery day tomorrow. Whee! The end. And now, dear listener, it's your turn to rest. Close your eyes, snuggle up, and let the stars twinkle just for you. Tomorrow will be a wonderful day, perhaps even an adventure of your own. Good night, little dreamer. Sleep well.